All right, on today's episode, we got a very special guest. This guy has trained me like a beast for the last year and a half. Kurt Mapula, fitness trainer. He's going for his pro card, bodybuilder. Like, oh my God, just did a show, and he's coming up next.
Welcome to Talk My Way Out, a podcast dedicated to the pursuit of the best version of you, featuring tips and tricks, motivational stories, life hacks, and more. So keep setting goals. Be yourself first, and always know your worth. Here is your host, Jeff Martin.
All right, welcome to Talk My Way Out. I am here with one of my good buddies. We've only known each other about a year and a half, but you have been very instrumental in changing my whole fitness thing for the last couple of years. Well, a year and a half. Kurt Mapula, fitness coach, nutrition coach, going for your pro bodybuilder card. You just did a show, and welcome, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. This is my first time doing something like this, and I'm happy to be a part of something great that you're doing.
I was so excited because I wanted to get you in here, man, because you literally, like, you took me under your wing right from day one. And it was funny because last week my daughter was here and we were talking about my first day at ISI, and I fell and I skinned my chin, because I was just so uncoordinated.
Who was coaching that one? You were doing like sprints, right?
It was
Was
Matt.
it a burpee to sprint?
It was Matt's last class was my first class before he moved.
Was it like he was doing like go and then you do a burpee, then you come
No,
up
it was just the sprints down the AstroTurf, and I took 3 steps and I tripped and I skinned my chin.
I think Matt told me about that.
Yeah, everybody slow clapped like an 80s movie, and I didn't quit. I got back up, but yeah, man. And now, the things I do at the gym now, it's like crazy, like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, you're doing like big stuff now, man. I mean, coming from, I know, like, I knew like what you looked like last year, and then I think you just brought like that energy, and I think that's what made like that difference. I mean, it's all about attitude, and it doesn't really matter where anybody starts, but if you have like, you bring like that positive attitude, that will just take you anywhere, and you had that coming in, and look at you now.
It really is mindset.
Right.
I mean, even being a coach, like it's got to be hard to coach people if they're not going to do what you tell them to do. Like you can tell them all day, if they don't have the heart and drive to do it, you're not going to get the results,
Right. So I just did a bodybuilding show December 5th, and I didn't win that one. I was 3rd place, and I wanted to win that pro card so bad, but it didn't happen, and it was okay. And I took it as another opportunity to do better next time. And I tell myself that, again, like I said, it was like attitude. It's all about attitude, and 10% is what happens to you, and 90% is how you react to them. And I try to live my life that way because, you can't really get somebody to, I guess, like they'll do whatever they want, but it's up to you how you react to them. So whether they're trying to hurt you or whatever, it's really up to you how you react. You can just shrug it off and say, okay, well.
To whatever situation,
Right.
Because I mean, for me, the longest time is like I was uncomfortably comfortable. You know what I mean? Even though I was way overweight, unhealthy, type 2 diabetes, I was like, I'm not that bad. I'm still getting around, and type thing. And it wasn't until, like I said before on one, it was weird how bad I started when I started at ISI. But then there was a point midway in where I was like, there you are. You know what I mean? And that fire woke up because that old athlete was coming out. And there's something I think about that group mentality of working out there too, because it's not just, I work out harder with you there than I would ever do on my own, even now.
Right.
Because I still go lift on my own, and I still don't work out as hard as I do when you're pushing me at the gym.
Right. There's something about being in a community where, like the person right beside you is going hard, and then automatically it's okay, you're going hard. It's like, I'm not going to let you, I'm going to go hard too, and it's just like you feed off each other, and you guys are pushing each other. So, okay. I like to work out with you guys Wednesdays for like cardio. Yeah. And I'll look across the room, I'll see Katie Rollins, and we will make eye contact. Next, we're doing sprints down and back.
Yeah, we're like,
and
okay.
we'll start to go faster and then faster and faster. Next thing you know, we're trying to go as fast as we can.
I did because I followed you the one thing, and like I was like, I'll do whatever you do, and like I was trying to lift the weights.
I remember that.
70-pound snatches and everything else. And the funny thing to me is it doesn't necessarily like you are off the charts athlete, you know, of course, trying to keep up with you. But sometimes, you know, I'll look across the room and be like 55-year-old lady and she's still going while I stop trying to catch my breath.
Right.
I'm like, okay. I was like, time to step up your game, Jeff. So, so for you, like the whole fitness thing, where did it start with you? Like were you always fit? Were you like, what was the trigger for you to want to do this as a career?
Well, I think there's a lot of things, I guess you could say, that shaped me, the person I am now.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of like anime shows.
Yeah.
Like Dragon Ball Z. I'm not sure familiar with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, like these like cartoon characters, like they fight off basically like enemies from like outside of Earth coming to invade Earth. And this main character named Goku is basically the Super Saiyan that came from another world because their world got destroyed, so they went to Earth.
Yep.
And they vowed to protect the world from anybody else, right? So they would train in this like hyperbolic chamber to where the gravity is 100 times the Earth, and then for me to see that, like as a kid, you know, it
You
feels
wanted to
like,
be that guy.
Right. I was like, man, how can I do that? So I started doing sit-ups and all this stuff, but I was still skinny then. I was very picky as a kid.
Like food wise?
Very.
Oh, so you just you weren't eating your vegetables and doing it. Yeah.
Right. So like if I don't want that, I won't eat it. Like I won't eat it at all. Like it has to be like something I want. I love sweets. So and the only way I would eat is if I eat like sweets. Like sometimes like candies and sometimes that's the only thing I would eat. And
but you just stayed skinny even though you were just eating sweets and stuff?
I was eating
because you just
sweets,
weren't eating enough food.
Not eating enough.
Yeah.
I wasn't hungry either, so I was very skinny.
Yeah.
My family members were actually my grandmother would tell my mom to feed me, you know, but I didn't want to eat. I didn't like what they were cooking, and I was super picky.
Yep.
Now it's like the complete opposite. You offer me something. If I'm not doing a bodybuilding show right now,
You're
you
hungry.
offer me something. It's like, yeah, that's awesome.
I'll eat.
And also, I was bullied as a kid, right?
Because you were smaller.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, I think naturally, like, kids are naturally bullies. If they can overpower somebody, they would.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that. So, like, bigger kids would, like, pick on me.
Because you were smaller.
Because I was smaller. So we would do, like, that. What you were saying, like, the mercy game?
Yeah, mercy with your
the
pain.
mercy
Yeah.
game.
Come on, let's
And,
play. And you're
right.
like, oh, I'll be your
Right,
friend.
so I'll do it. And they'll intentionally try to hurt me
Yeah.
that way. And I couldn't do anything about it. They were bigger. I was skinny. I didn't like to eat. And then a lot of, you know, fitness is nutrition.
Yep.
You know, that's how you feed the body. And they picked on me. And I remember I was walking in. I remember there was a basketball court right beside the place we were staying at.
Mm-hmm.
And I happened to forget my basketball, right? So, like, these kids, they were from the other side of the street.
Yeah.
Right, so they were playing with the basketball, right? So like I just decided to go out there by myself, right?
Really?
To go out there and like, hey, that's my basketball, right? So they didn't like that at all.
They're like, not anymore,
So
kid.
like one kid came up behind me, grabbed me in the back, like here, pulled it back, and he said, he's like, this is our basketball, you know? And I couldn't do anything. They were bigger, and all I did was just ask for the basketball. They didn't give it to me, right?
Yep.
And I didn't get the basketball. And then I think one time I was walking down the streets going to school. The same kid came up to me, did it again. And I remember I just felt like powerless.
Just helpless, yeah.
Right. And coming here to the United States, it's a very like competitive. I mean, in Philippines, it's competitive, like sports too. But over here, for some reason, in the United States, it's like they award people who are power, speed, agility, you know, like football athletes, basketball, they'll pick the best of the best. And it feels like that's what we want in athletes. And I had to, I guess, adapt to that. And
so in your mind, to be successful, you had to become.
Right.
Yeah.
And slowly and surely I start to gain my confidence
Yep.
in that. And I basically seek shelter through like fitness, and I found my confidence through there.
So that's crazy because like you actually, the pain of working out provided comfort for you.
Right.
And it's great. I got picked on when I was a little kid too. Like I did not, like I had the typical growth spurt. I was
Right.
small until like like, I remember I tried out for football in 8th grade, didn't make it. And then 9th grade I started. Cause like over that summer I went to work on a farm and put on like 50 pounds of muscle like in 1 year. But the same thing, man. I remember first time riding a school bus and the kid next to me sneezed. And I was a little gentleman, so I pulled the tissue out and I gave it to him, and he punched me in the nose. And I'll never forget that. I was just being kind, and that kid punched me in the face and called me a wuss because I handed him a tissue. So it's like, it's weird how those things stick with you, and it was weird because some of the guys that picked on me when I was younger, I ended up playing football with, you know what I mean? And it's like, the kid caused me some trauma when I was a kid, but now I'm supposed to protect him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, but it's weird how you overcome through fitness, like you said,
I think that, if I didn't get bullied, I didn't get picked on, I don't think I'd be the same person now.
Yeah.
Because, it feels like, when, I didn't want to feel powerless just like that again. And for me, like weights and like fitness, it gave me like the confidence to be powerful and have control of myself. And then from that, it just kind of spread out to like jujitsu, bodybuilding, and it became more of like an adventurous thing rather than like
how far you could take it now that you had it.
Right. Now it's like looking for like the adventure, like what else can I do?
Yeah.
Like, because it feels like, fitness, you can do so many things. I mean, that's what being fit is all about. It's not about, hey, who has the abs? Hey, how lean can you get? I mean, sure, having abs is great, but, there's so many things that you can do. You don't have to have abs to be a swimmer, to enjoy swimming. You don't have to, have abs to enjoy running,
Yep.
And it's unfortunate that like sometimes like people think that like fitness, when you're trying to be fit, you have to, I got to eat the specific diet. I got to eat this and that. I got to work out 5 times a week. Otherwise it won't work.
It's so weird to me too, because everyone who's seen my journey, I lost 235 pounds. The first question to me every single time isn't like, what's your workout? It's always, what are you eating? Like, can you tell me what you're eating? And I was like, I'm fueling the car. I was like, you got to drive the car. You know what I mean? And it's weird to me that everybody just thinks like that's the magic bullet. And then I try to tell people, I'm like, I actually technically eat more food now than when I was 460 pounds. I was like, because it's different. You know what I mean?
Eating better.
I'm eating better,
but more.
But the volume is just like, you know how it is. Like when you're trying to bulk up or anything, you're just like stuffing it in like every couple hours. And it's like, but that amazes me. They never ask me what my workout is. No one at all asked me what my workout is. It's always like, what are you eating? Can you give me a list of what you're eating? Yeah.
And I'm very passionate about food. I mean, I talk about food all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to, you're talking about like eating more.
Yeah.
You're eating more like better foods.
Yeah.
Because like one meal at Chick-fil-A, I love Chick-fil-A too, by the way. So for all the fans out there, I love Chick-fil-A. That's our Wednesday night. Me and my wife, we go out every Wednesday and we try to have that.
Are you the fan of the cheat meal? Like I see The Rock have his cheat meal where it's like 6,000 calorie cheat meal.
Not that much though.
Yeah.
I'll probably throw up.
That guy works though. He earns it.
So like one, like number one meal with sweet tea or something like that.
Yep.
That's about like roughly around 1,100 to 1,200. And if you're eating quote clean food, like, grilled chicken with, rice and beans with vegetables, I would say maybe 500 calories.
Yep.
So you would have to eat 2.5
meals
of that just to even compare to like one meal of Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, because I try to tell people, I mean, some days I eat like a pound of broccoli, like 4 chicken breasts, what I mean? Like it's just like, it's a huge amount of food, but I'm trying to fuel, muscle growth and get bigger, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, nutrition's such a big part of it, but I think it, like you said, I think it all comes from up here first. Because if you don't make that decision, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to eat right. You're not going to work out. You're not going to do anything. And the other thing too, you said like how it sparked from feeling powerless or whatever, even, Terry Crews.
Yeah. I love that.
He's a beast, but like I saw an interview with him. That all stemmed from him seeing his mom and dad fight and him feeling powerless and not being able. And he's like, you're never going to be, you're never going to be more powerful than me. I'll be more powerful than you. And that's like what drives him to like this day, you know? So it's like, it's so funny that so many people have very same thread across the thing.
Yeah. It feels like you have to go through the lows before you can even go high.
Yeah.
You know, because like that's like your base and your foundation. Why you even doing this in the first place?
Because even David Goggins says the same thing. He's like, he goes, you got to suffer to be able to fly.
Right.
He's
you
like,
ever did listen to his Audible?
oh my God, yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
He does crazy stuff.
I thought like sometimes I thought I had it hard, but he had it hard.
And
you know?
the thing is, he had it hard, but he also creates hard for him like all the time. He's like, you know,
now he does. He makes it extra harder for him because for him that's an opportunity to callous your mind.
Yep.
To make you better and be prepared for life.
Exactly.
So, but I love him, man. I love him.
It drives me, man, because like he just does it. He just does it. You know what I mean? And you know what's impossible for other people, it's not for him, because he's like, he goes, just because no one hasn't done it yet doesn't mean it can't be done. You know, and he's just a beast.
Yeah, he's a pioneer, man.
Absolutely.
That's how I actually got to do my first Spartan race. You know, so like
Listen
it was like
David
maybe
Goggins.
like yeah. David Goggins, this is for you. But 4 months before the Spartan race, somebody told me about the Spartan race, and I was just intrigued by it. I was like, oh, okay,
what's that?
Beast, 13 miles, and then you have the Ultra Beast, which is 31 miles of mud trail obstacle course, right?
Wow.
And in my mind, I was like, that is amazing. That is interesting. I don't think I can do that, but I think I can, like, if I train for it. So I was listening to David Goggins at that time, like the audio. Mind you, I listened, I'm still listening to his audio, his books, and this is my 8th time of listening to his audio.
And you pick out new stuff all the time.
All the time, you know. But I was listening to his stuff, and listening to him made me sign up for the Ultra Beast. When I signed up for it, my longest ever run was 9 miles on road. So for me just to sign up on a 30-mile course with obstacle course and burpees and the cold, because that was November when I did it. November 2 years ago, and that was like a week before Thanksgiving, to sign up. And I've never run on trail before. I have never run more than 10 miles ever in my life. And then next thing you know, look at me signing up. And listening to David Goggins, it made me, it motivated me. It got me to find like that drive. It's like, I will do this because he did this. And then for me to do this, that should be like nothing. And I trained for it. And when I did the Ultra Beast, it was from 7 a.m. It started off at 55 degrees. And it's one of those days where it got colder and colder as the day goes.
The day went on, Cold front was coming in.
Right. So that was, in my mind, I was like, oh, it's 55 degrees. It's going to get warmer later. But it never came.
Never did.
Right. So I started up 7 a.m. We had like the headlamp, because it's November.
Yep.
November, and it starts to get dark at like 5:30 p.m. And they require people that, because you could be in the course for like 10 hours, 11 hours. Wow. And from 7 a.m., I did the open, so I didn't have to do the burpees. But for some reason, I decided that, if I failed an obstacle course, I will do 30 burpees.
Because you got to do 30 burpees on every obstacle you fail.
If you're competing in competitive level.
Okay.
Right? But if you just did the open, it's more like a weekend warrior. You just kind of do it. Yeah. But I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it like almost a competitive level.
Yeah.
So like I promised myself I'll do 30 burpees if I don't get through an obstacle course. And I did. Right? So it started from 7 a.m. and then I didn't finish till 6:22 p.m.
Oh my God.
And then the weather at that time, they had to close certain obstacle course because it required you to be wet. Yep. And by the end of the night, it was roughly around like 42, 43 degrees.
So it was like hypothermia.
And we were wet the whole time because it kept raining. So it was supposed to rain the whole day, but I was like, all right, it's 55 degrees. Maybe, around like 2 o'clock, it's going to be like 65.
Sun will come out. It'll be nice.
Well, it became like 50, and then next thing you know, like 45.
Then you're seeing your breath.
Right. And since it was raining, this was like up in Mill Springs, North Carolina, and it was like in trails and everything. So like since it was raining and like hundreds of people were going through that, right? And then eventually like the terrain became like a mudslide.
Just mush, yeah.
Right? So like the first time I went through it, right? No problem. And the second time I got through it, like I couldn't even recognize where I was going because the terrain just changed.
It didn't even look the same.
Right, because people were going to the side because they were trying to find grip. Since people were going to the side, it made like the
trail wider
and wider. And you're like, where am I going? And people were sliding up and down. And about 70% of the ultra runners, so the ultra beast runners, they know that they were about to do 31 miles. About 70% of them, DNF, did not finish.
Wow.
70%. They were picking people left and right because they were cold. They were almost like hypothermic condition.
Hypothermic, yeah.
And they had to get help. And to be honest, I almost quit too during that race. I finished my one lap because the Ultra Beast is 2 laps of the Beast.
Of the Beast.
Except extra 4 miles. And so I got through it one time. At the end of that one lap, the terrain was so bad. Everybody was sliding. Everybody was falling. Like,
twisting
on top
ankles,
of each other.
yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, in my mind, I was already getting negative. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be bad. The Beast people, they haven't went yet. And that's where Matt, Miranda, my wife.
All these people.
Yeah, they haven't even went yet. And I already know how bad it is, right? So when I got back to finish my first lap, I got to like this transition area to where we can rest, eat just a little bit, refuel, and then go back out.
Yep.
I almost didn't go, right? But I had to force myself, hey, just go.
And then David Goggins came up on your shoulder.
Right, stay hard, right?
Stay hard.
So I went over like the hill and down the hill. So like 15 minutes in, I wanted to go back. I wanted to tell ISI, the members that were doing it with me, I wanted to go back. It's like, hey, everything's getting dangerous. Everything's like, like steep and you know, slidey.
Don't do it.
And I was like, if you guys don't do it, it's no problem.
Yeah.
Well, I had to go back up the mountain again to go back to tell him, right? So like, I was like, you know what? I don't want to do that. And this woman that was right beside me, she was maybe like 5'4", and she had like a raincoat, and she had her head down, and she was just going. And then I saw her, and I was like, this woman will finish, and I'm over here thinking about going back and quitting.
Yep.
Right. And then I immediately thought about all the ISI members. What would they think of me if I quit right now? And then from that point on, it got warmer, and my mind got better, and I knew that
even though it was physically getting colder, but inside to you.
Yeah. And that's like the power of like the mindset. Like if you really want it, you will do everything you can to get it. And I experienced it there. It got warmer. It's weird.
It's so true because, like, when I did that 75-mile challenge for January or whatever, like, I hate it. But you talked me into doing the Beast. Like, I'm training for the Beast now in June, and like, I've never done a Spartan race, and like, the Beast is like what, the second hardest of the Spartan.
It's about 13.1 miles.
So it's my first race ever, and it's the second hardest one that they do. Right. And so I'm training for you because you said you're like, you got this, you can train it, right. Because I told you that, my goal was lose the weight, get as low as I can for the skin surgery.
Right.
And now this gave me something new and a fire to do it.
Right.
So then your wife launched the 75-mile challenge, and I finished it in 10 days. Like I started January 4th. I finished it on the 14th. But then, before that, like you said the longest you ever did was 9 miles on the road. Mm-hmm. I did 2 miles on a treadmill one time, and I was like, I thought that was like so crazy far. So when I did the 75 miles, I showed you, I saved the 13.1 for the last day.
Right.
And I did it
crazy.
I did it on leg day. And I'm like, okay, so same thing with you. Like I was saying, like I named the show Talk My Way Out.
Right.
Because it really works both ways. Like you can talk your way out of being lazy, but you can also talk your way out of succeeding.
Right.
And so that day I got 3 miles in. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Because there's still 10 miles left. And then, but once I got past the
3 mile mark,
I was like, I did 10 miles before out here. And then when I got to 6.6 or whatever, I was like,
you're right there, you're close.
I was like, dude, I climbed the mountain. I'm going down the other side now. And it took me 3 hours and 55 minutes, but I did it, and like now in my head, going into Spartan Beast, I know, obstacles and uphills and everything, but I have done 13.1 miles before,
It's a mindset thing, man. When I did like the Spartan Ultra Beast, I did it by myself.
That's crazy.
Now I don't know how I did it, but when I would run at the Hulk, when I sometimes I'll stay out there for about 3 hours. No music. It's just me in my head. And I think there's something very important about that is when you have music, you distract yourself from yourself.
Yep.
Right? And when you don't have music, who are you going to listen to? Yourself. And you got to be able to learn how to deal with yourself. So when your body's telling you, it's like, hey, at that corner, you can rest, you know? But in your mind, you don't want to do that because you want to be better.
Yep.
So like the more you can, it's like, no, I can do better. Everybody else will rest, not you. That's what I would tell myself all the time.
Kind of when I was doing the 75 miles, I knew it wasn't a race, and I didn't look at it as a race, and I didn't want to beat everybody else. I wanted to beat me. You know what I mean? And like, so then like when we were doing it, there was some really cold days, wet, rainy, like just nasty days during it. And I looked at the leaderboard of people on there. I was like, you know what? A lot of people aren't going to do it today, but I am. And I would go out and do 5 miles.
Did it, right.
And I would go do 5 miles. It was raining. The one I'm wearing a hood and it's soaked, but I still got the 5 miles in. And it wasn't like a dig to anyone else or trying, like I literally wasn't even trying to win. I just wanted to do it as fast as I could and do it as intensely as I could. And like I got excited about the days where I knew it was cold, like 40 degrees and no one else would do it. And I would do it, you know, and then I would see me jump up by 5 and then see nobody else did, you know, and that was the thing. But like you were saying with the mental toughness for me, that was just as important as getting the 75 miles, you know?
Right. What is that? Going back to kind of like what you said about, what is that? Like a mindset, right? And about being motivated to do something. It's easy to do something when you're motivated. But what happens if it's cold outside? What happens like hot outside? Oh, it's early in the morning. Those are the opportunities that you have to take in order yourself to separate yourself up from everybody else.
Yep.
Because it's easy to do something when you're comfortable. It's like, oh, it's a perfect timing. Oh, it's nice out.
Yeah, I'll put some miles on it.
I feel good
65.
today. I'll do it. I'll run today.
Yeah.
But, you know, when it's cold outside, not a lot of people want to run when it's cold outside. When it's like 30 degrees outside, how many people are going to run outside? Almost like nobody. But that's your time. That's it. That's your time to shine and separate yourself from the group. Like no matter what, you're going to do it. You just put on, you know, a bigger jacket, you just go.
Yep.
You know?
And I create these tiny things in my mind all the time too. Like, you know, I'd be like, all right, you're going to do 7 miles today, or you can't talk to your daughter for 2 days. You know what I mean? Like just these ridiculous
like,
things. They're like totally make believe, but like,
but it works.
Yeah. You put that emotional connection on there because the whole thing is like, if you had to get to your wife and I said, you got to go 35 miles to get to her, you're going to crawl. You're going to do it. You're going to do it.
Right.
And I think a lot of people aren't willing to do that. Like I think you have to almost make that emotional connection.
You do, yeah.
To be able to do it. Like, cause I mean, even when I came back from the surgery, I came back after 28 days. I was supposed to be out 90 days. And I had so many people just coming to me and be like, dude, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to do this. Yeah, and I was like,
I saw that.
But in my mind, I'm like, dude, you can do this. You know what I mean? And to me, it was trying to overcome it. Like I would do benches, you know, like you'd have to lift the dumbbells up to me because I couldn't go back with them.
You can't go back or come up. So
I was like, I know if I got there, I can press them, you know, I just can't lift them up to me. So, I mean, I think that, but if I didn't have that toughness already built in, I would have waited the 90 days, you know, and I would have been way out of shape, and I would have, you know, lost.
You probably would have lost your drive too.
Yeah, because you stay, you know, I saw people do that with COVID. You know, when we got locked down, you know, moved to the outside workouts. A lot of people didn't come along with that, you know, and but to me, I mean, even with a pandemic, like be as healthy as you possibly can. That makes sense, you know.
Right. So. Because everything else is, you know, like the gyms are closed, you know. And you're at home, you're not as active. Let's say, you know, like for your job, you got laid off, right? Or something like that. And then now you're not walking as much. You're at home, stuck at home.
Yep.
It feels like it makes it even more important for you to be healthier because now you're not active anymore.
Yep.
So you got to figure out a way to kind of balance it out again.
Yep.
And then since you're at home all the time, what do? Like you eat.
Yeah.
You know?
The wrong stuff. And
Right. Because it's easiest right there. When you're at work, you know, you don't really have like the cookies at your work, you know. But at home you have your pantry. It's like right there. You can easily open it, have it, done.
Boom.
You know, and it's right there.
People say that too, because like, I mean, this is the podcast studio, but I work right over on the other side of the curtain, you know, doing voiceovers. And they're like, "Oh, you're so lucky you're there." I was like, "Dude, it's Temptation Island trying to work from home. Mm-hmm. Like everything that you guys are all doing by social distancing, I've been doing for years." And right. It makes it very difficult when you're just around your kitchen or you're around, you know, temptation of, you know, oh, just go get something to eat, you know, stop work. But, you know, like you were saying, nutrition is such a huge part of it. And you're really, as much as a fitness coach you are, and your workouts are brutal and, oh my God, like you make me hurt every time I go there. Like nutrition for you is becoming like the new passion, right?
It is. I think I love food, and food is just a universal language for everybody.
Yep.
I believe that food connects everybody, and you know, because what tastes good for somebody, you know, like it probably tastes good for somebody else too, and like they can make that connection. So I'm Filipino, and I have a lot of white friends that would come up to me. It's like, dude, I love Filipino food, and the next thing you know, that there's like a connection right there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you connect like the culture together because
they respect your culture, yeah, and they love
food,
part of it, yeah.
And it's a universal language, and I just don't like it when people say, "Oh, if I want to be healthy, I just got to eat like this specific diet, specific food."
Yeah,
I was like, that's not what it's all about. It's like you want to be able to enjoy life, and that's what it's all about. You want to be healthy enough and fit enough to do the things you want to do. It's not about having abs. It's not about, you know, showing off and everything. But be healthy enough to, hey, if I want to go out and enjoy my time with my wife, I'm gonna go.
Because like you said, you're in phenomenal shape. You're ripped. I mean, we'll put some pictures up of you from that you just had done. I mean, but like you just said, Wednesday night you guys have Chick-fil-A, mm-hmm. and the thing is, that's another motivator. Like work out so you can, you know, if you're doing consistently good 90% of the time, you can go off and come back.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like I said, like The Rock, he puts these ridiculous cheat days of like 2 pizzas up.
He'll have that picture going this way with like a big pancake.
And he's ripped, you know what I mean? Because he can absorb it. You know what I mean? Right. It's like being prepared. Like, you know, like you got stock in your bank account to absorb, you know, the thing. And like, it's so weird because I tell people, for me, I don't do well with carbs at all. Like my body just does not handle them well. And a couple times they're like, I don't really do cheat days. You know what I mean? So like a couple times I've had like pizza and like it tastes amazing, but
right.
I feel so sick afterwards, like, because I'm so used to eating clean.
Right.
And it's weird because when I was heavy and all that stuff, I always felt bad. But because I always felt bad, that seemed normal. You know what I mean? Like, so, but now that I eat so clean, if I go off the rails and have something,
it kind of make you feel bad.
Oh my God, I get upset stomach, you know, like stomach ache and like all the other stuff. So for the most part, I don't do too many cheat days. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know, to me, a cheat day would be like maybe a diet soda. You know what I mean? Like, well, all right, treat yourself, even though it's bad. Right. But, you know, that will be few and far between. But yeah, I mean, I think you're onto it. You got to be able to enjoy what you're doing. It can't be just, you know, do the best you can, but make it taste amazing, you know?
Right. And I think that's like the sustainable, you know, the people that can sustain a diet. I mean, it doesn't, I'm not hating on any diet at all.
Yeah.
But the diet has to be something you can adhere to and sustain for long periods of time.
Yeah.
If you can't see yourself doing something for 6 months, why are you doing this right now? Right.
Because the other thing you said to me, which really stuck too, because you're like, yeah, you see these guys shredded in movies and stuff like that, but they do like a bodybuilder cut like you do for a show, and they look like that for a couple of days on those scenes that they have to do, and then they go back. You know, because even like Hugh Jackman, you know, as ripped as he was for Wolverine, he doesn't want to be Wolverine anymore because of how hard he had to do that.
To cut for that, right?
Yeah,
and there's seasons and reasons for everything. I think. You know, like you'd rather want to be like leaner, you know, for like the summer, and then once like winter comes, then enjoy a little bit more, eat a little bit more,
bulk up a little more,
yeah, bulk up, but know that. But you got to be like have a healthy mindset too. That you know that this is what you're doing. You're kind of quote like eating more, bulking more, and then you know that when January, March, February, March comes, you know that. This is something you want to do, like you're ready to cut.
It's funny you said that because we've talked about it because, you know, I said I want to do the final push I want to get down to 10 or 12% body fat for my final.
That'd be insane.
Because I just want that. I want the two ends. I want the bookends. I'm not going to stay at 10 or 12%, obviously. But I told you because you just launched your new nutrition program, right?
Yeah, like a nutrition coaching.
Yeah.
Something I'm trying out. And I want to make that a big thing.
Well, I'm going to be the poster boy. Because the one thing you know of me, I do what I say. Like, you know what I mean? If I tell you I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stick to what you tell me to. And we already said we're going to start February 1st. And I'm going to cut down to June.
Right.
So my goal is to be 10, 12%, to June.
Yeah.
Because you said the first month, February, we'll ease into it, see where I'm at. And then you'll start the cut then.
Yeah, we'll try to figure out where you're at, like in terms of, I guess, your caloric maintenance.
Yeah.
We don't want to start off too hard.
Because then I'll start losing muscle, right?
Yeah, because you're cutting too quick, right? And if you start off too hard, let's say you plateau, right? Now where are you going to go? Go harder?
Right.
Right? There's no other place to go. And
because I was surprised how quick, like when I was down for the 3 weeks for surgery, I did the scan right before because I was meticulous about it. I wanted to see where I was. And I did the scan 28 days later when I came back. I lost 7 pounds of muscle.
You atrophied.
Because I couldn't eat.
You weren't moving either.
I couldn't eat. And then, so then I went straight into 2-a-days. I went nuts, 10, 12 workouts
I was a
week.
little bit worried about you. I was like, hey.
And I gained the 7 pounds of muscle back plus 5. So I put 12 pounds back on. And then I've been pretty steady now. I kind of plateaued on that. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to follow what you tell me to a T.
Right.
And you guys are just going to see me get skinnier and skinnier over the weeks and more cut. I want this. That's what I want.
Right? Vein coming
I saw
out.
it today for 3.5 seconds.
in the bathroom. 3.5.
3.5. If I lift, it goes and it goes. Like I want it there all the time, Kurt.
Yeah.
So
you know what they say: if you don't see veins, you're just playing.
Yeah. The whole thing is I'd never seen veins in so long. Like to God's honest truth, like when I got the type 2 diabetes, they had to put the needle in the top of my foot because I was so heavy they couldn't find anything.
Right.
And now when I lift, it comes all up here. I got veins in my shoulders. It's like I'm never going back to that, man.
Right.
And I thank you because you and all the coaches there.
Yeah.
You guys have been definitely instrumental into, like I told Lisa, I got skinny on my own, but you guys have whittled me into an athlete. And I just, I want to see how far I can take it now, and the thing is you legit are my friend. You know what I mean? Right. You're not just my coach.
We message on Facebook all the time.
I talk to you almost every single day, almost like literally almost 7 days a week, and every time I have a question, you're right there, you answer it. So, thanks for having such a big heart. And you don't do it just for me. You do it for everybody.
Right.
So that's got to be draining on you, man. Just
sometimes just a little bit, because when I would text people, I mean, I know they're not going to reply immediately.
Yeah.
So okay, I sent all my messages, checked up on them. And then after that, I'll be at home or something doing my things. And then next thing I'll get a text.
Yep.
And then when I see it, I'll try to reply to it. And because sometimes I'll accidentally open it and I'm like, crap.
Yeah.
It's crap. I can't unread it, Yeah. So I gotta go back real quick. Let me help them out real quick. And then, so if I don't, if you're an ISI member and you listen to this, if I don't reply immediately, sorry.
Yeah. There might be 150 people that wrote me that day.
But just know that if I don't reach back, keep reaching out to me and, I'll try to get back at you as fast as I can.
Well, awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for coming in. If you could tell people one fitness thing that they should just do right now, today, not wait, especially if they're not working out, what would it be? If you had to tell somebody to just motivate them to make the change and do what I did or do what you did, to just change your life, what would you tell them?
What would I tell them? Let me see. Put me in the spot here. I would say just be bold. Be bold about it. Don't wait for other people's permission. I think people wait for somebody's permission. It's hey, you can do this.
Yeah.
Don't wait for their permission.
Tell yourself.
Tell yourself you can do this, because 6 months down the line, are you going to be if you didn't do what you're supposed to do 6 months later, are you going to be happy, or are you going to be, man, I'm still this person? So I would say be bold, be courageous, and don't wait for somebody else's permission.
And I really
Just
think,
do it.
I think, you know, once you get that ball rolling too, and people are watching you, just like you said in that race, what would the other members say if they watch you quit? And the same thing with me now is, now that I've brought it to this point, if I even quit, like, you know how many people I would let down?
People watch, man.
And it drives you, man. And it's not, it's your spouse that watches you. It's your kids that watch you. Like, just use that as fuel and just push as hard as you can. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for motivating me and all my other friends there, and just all the people's lives you touch, man. You're an amazing dude.
I love it. I love it, man. I love ISI. I love everything, man.
All right. Well, thanks, man.
All right. Thank you for having me, Jeff.
Thanks for joining Talk My Way Out. Be sure to like, follow, comment, and subscribe. You can also reach out to us on social media at Talk My Way Out. Until next time, remember to pay yourself first and always know your worth.